Hi everyone, this is Tony from the English Academy team. We're actually here in KEMRI in Kilifi in Kenya, and I'm here with one of our participants. So tell us about yourself, what you've been working on, where you're from, how long you've been sort of working in the scientific field for.
Okay, so my name is Gathii Kimita, and I'm a molecular biologist, bioinformatician by training.
Right.
So right now I'm working on surveillance of pathogens that cause fever. So I've been doing that since 2019.
2019. Okay.
Yeah, so the whole goal is to try and delimit the cause of fever in patients across the country, in Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, fever that is not necessarily being caused by malaria or that escapes the typical diagnostic tests in hospitals. So that's all. Those are the kind of samples we are out there looking. So which is everyone not looking at.
Right.
To be able to answer those questions. So mostly we do that using next generation sequencing. Another molecular test like qPCR, targeted assays. And the reason this course has been important is because since normally we are looking for things we're not particularly sure, we don't know exactly what's causing the patient, so our approach is mostly metagenomics.
Whole genome sequencing.
Yeah, whole genome sequencing. So in this advanced bioinformatics workshop, we've been able to, or rather have been able to learn quite a number of things that I was not doing before, from using environments to containerize your tools.
Yes.
And also building pipelines to try and automate and also make your app more reproducible.
Right.
Yes. So within this workshop, I've also been able to interact with different people and made not only colleagues but also friends.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, so this training has been important.
Yeah, sure.
And I believe for most of the other participants.
So just take us back. Why did you sort of know that you wanted to do science, like at school or undergrad? Did you study that, or was it a big transition for you?
I think I've always wanted to do science.
Right.
And probably I keep saying, so my father worked in the museum.
Okay.
He's out of Kenya, and he had these slides, the traditional
Projector. Yes.
Yeah, and in some evenings we'd watch, we'd have shows of some of his work. He was not a scientist by training, but was more working with the anthropology department.
Okay.
With Dr. Richard Dickey. And I think that kind of spiked my curiosity and interest in sciences, and went ahead and registered for biochemistry, and molecular biology undergraduate program.
Right.
In Kenya, University of Kenya, Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. At the same time, I also had an interest in computers.
Okay.
And so I concurrently took a course, like a diploma course in information processing.
Right.
Yeah. So after that, I worked for a year and a half as a pharmaceutical sales representative.
Okay.
To get a feel of how things are out there. And,
yes.
Then went back for a master's program in bioinformatics.
Okay.
Biology. I think the choice of which was informed from my love for computers and technology.
Right.
And also my love for science. That's how I ended up doing what I'm doing.
So, as you alluded to, growing up, you get the inspiration from your father and sort of cultivated that environment for you to, go to university, and you sort of come from a biological background. So, I can imagine going to the field of bioinformatics, there's coding, syntax, that's quite a difficult transition for you.
Yeah.
And, the course that you're now taking for the third year, the first year you're sort of being introduced to, containers, as you say, virtual environment. And the second year is sort of more sort of coding, Python. And now this is a third iteration where you sort of are putting together everything that you learned on a group project where you're given some data, run workflows, analyze it. Do you feel that is a good pace in terms of how the learning has been? In terms of your own experience, what are some of the challenges that you sort of found that was sort of difficult?
Yeah, so I think the course has been well paced, kind of well structured, introducing concepts in a way that will be utilized in the third and final iteration of the course. And probably one of the challenges that are in bioinformatics or in tech is you have so many different ways of achieving the same objective. So you have different, if it's pipeline development tools, if it's virtualization tools, and it all again comes down to your choice or who taught you, and maybe trying, like changing from one syntax to the other. Although largely, I find that if you have a basic background, you kind of are able to read different. I mean, at the end of the day, the principle is the same,
Right.
but you still have to get down there and read documentation and troubleshoot. I think right now AI is making that whole lot easier.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, as you said, you have been here 3 years now, you have sort of made friends, colleagues, there's this sense of camaraderie where you can form almost a network. And obviously, when you go back home, is there a good supporting structure? If you get stuck or if there are challenges, is there mentors that you go to? Or have you really found it useful to, utilize some of the network that you sort of made here?
Yeah. So, have I reached out to anyone in this community?
Yeah. Or
Yeah, I think I have. Do you have a good structure at home of people I can reach out to?
like support,
Support,
or if you have issues.
Yes, probably one of our probably biggest issues, because we kind of are building a bioinformatics lab, and right now we are onboarding several users have been to try, and so I'm working as a system admin.
Oh, okay. You gotta train the new, set their accounts, access.
And that's kind of new for me. But luckily, we have like our mother group, which is based in the US, and although it's still challenging because I'm sure they have things that they're doing, so the response rate is not as efficient as you'd want it to.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think I'd say it will help to have like that kind of
Like almost a
support.
mentor that can give you the experience, and obviously something like if you have like a help desk system where you submit queries and they can sort of answer you.
Yeah.
And then, in terms of you being in the field, I mean, you've seen the SARS pandemic in 2020, and, you've studied science most of your life. What are some, advice that you would offer young people that's coming into the field, especially in the field of bioinformatics, where the pandemic preparedness in Africa is not on par to, of the developed countries like America, Europe?
I think first of all, it will help to have a good training background. Again, what I found useful in my setting is being open-minded.
Okay.
Kind of not. I mean, you'll always encounter challenges
Yes.
and new things, and kind of helps being able to kind of be dynamic and to learn, try to learn new things.
Be able to adapt.
Be able to adapt, be able to seek out information, because keep saying most of the things will be out there in the internet. Yeah, so as some people, if you're avidly look for things in OpenStack, for instance, you notice people get angry when you ask questions. Some people will get angry and ask, did you even bother searching for this question first before you asked it? And it's true. We really have probably all the problems have already. Someone has encountered a problem that you're already facing. So just by searching for it first, you probably start to arrive at an answer. Yes, so yeah.
And I mean, as you say, there's a buffet of information out there.
Yeah.
It's just how you structure and answer the right questions, which will give you, that answer that you're looking for. And any advice for, young scientists that's wanting to really come to bioinformatics, because this is still a relatively new field. I mean, before COVID, I don't think any lab or institutions in Africa actually did periodic surveillance and
Pathogens change,
yes,
and good case in point is SARS-CoV-2 was not there before.
yes,
So you gotta be, I think, adaptable. That's the number one thing, and kind of try and look at things from outside the box. Yeah, and like I guess one of the biggest challenges, for instance, that my mentor and PI keeps asking is, how do you, if SARS-CoV-2 was to happen again, without the obvious like number of sick patients that you had, because probably that also helps like uncover new pandemic. How would you go about discovering those new pathogens? Yeah, so I think it will help to kind of think outside, like look at everything from outside the box. So.
yeah. I mean, that's a really good point. I think a lot of institutions have started looking at wastewater surveillance. Really focus on, because I think water is a big source where some of these new pathogens or mutations, as you say, occur.
Yeah.
So just isolating down to that, and we can obviously be able to have a better idea what's out there. I mean, there's a lot of databases where actually existing known, cholera or virus. But I mean, as you say, if you don't know what you're looking for, that's a bit, difficult. And obviously, if you're working in the lab, you don't have proper SOPs. There's also contamination. People are also not well trained. And, as you say, we actually do need to have better structured training and take people through some best practices and be able to give them more opportunities.
So just again, go back to training. It's really important to have a good training.
No, understand that completely. Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tony.